Mem Hey Amid Beis. It's, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines from the bottom. Amarle, it's an abbreviation, Aleph Lamed. Amarle Abaya Rabbi Yosef. Abaya says to Rabbi Yosef. Before we're learning the full Shlema of Michal Ben Esther and all the others in the full Shlema. Before we said that Rabbi Yochanan paskin like Rabbi Yehuda. He said that they paskin like Rabbi Shimon, but Rabbi Yochanan himself paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon Levi paskins like Rabbi Shimon, talking about Muktzah. Rabbi Shimon has a lenient opinion in Muktzah, and Rabbi Yehuda is a more stricter opinion. So Rabbi Bar Bachana said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that they said that they paskin like Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yitzchak or Yosef says that Rabbi Yochanan says that Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda. So comes along Rabbi Yosef and says, now I understand what we meant when Rabbi Bar Bachana said that they said the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. That means that Rabbi Yochanan himself didn't hold like that. So Abaya is a little surprised over here at Rabbi Yosef. How did he come to this? That Rabbi Yochanan really paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. And what he meant by Amru was that others paskin like Rabbi Shimon Levi, paskin like Rabbi Shimon. He says, Amalei Baile Rabbi Yosef, Atli Tisbred, Rabbi Yochanan like Rabbi Yehuda. You don't know that halacha is like, that Rabbi Yochanan holds halacha like Rabbi Yehuda? Of course you knew that. You didn't need, what was his name? Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef, to tell us that Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. You've taught other cases which was very obvious that Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. You didn't need that statement, and then after that, someone say, "Oh, now I figured it out." What Rabbi Yochanan meant. You always knew that Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, we're going to go on to explain the how Abaya knows that Rabbi Yosef knows that Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. Abaya is a student of Rabbi Yosef. Dr. Stein, I said we're learning in the Schus for Shlema, right? Okay, we see now, Abaya is continuing his explanation of how he's so sure that Rabbi Yosef knows Allah is like Rabbi Yosef knows that Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. That's a stricter opinion by Muktzah. How Rabbi Abba v'Rabasi, Ikloy lebei Rabbi Abba de Min Haifa. Okay, Rabbi Abba and Rabasi happened to be in the house of Rabbi Abba from Haifa. There's two Rabbi Abbas here. One has a last name or location. The Nafal Menat al Glima de Rabasi. Well, a menorah fell over, and it fell on the menorah is a candelabra. It fell on the garment of Rabasi. V'lo tiltel, and Rabasi doesn't want to move it. My timer. La mishum de Rabasi talmidi de Rabbi Yochanan have it. It must be that Rabasi is a student of Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, and Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yehuda is really this like Muktzah, and Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. Now, we're not talking about a menorah that's lit. That would not prove anything. Rabbi Shimon also holds a menorah that's lit, can't be moved. And that's called a ner. This is just a menorah. This is just a candelabra. It doesn't say that there's anything in it. It doesn't say that it's lit. It's just a menorah. Rabbi Yehuda would hold its muktzah. You didn't designate it for Shabbos to use it at all. What do you use a menorah for anyway? Once Shabbos comes in, there's nothing to use it for. It just stands over there. So, like a decoration. So it must be that Rabasi holds that it's muktzah. Taisus has a very interesting point. He says that Rabasi is also a student of Rav. And we learned before that there was a candle of Hanukkah. What was that? That you're allowed to move it. And over there we said it was Shasad Chak. We said Kedaya Reb Shimon Lismachlav b'Shasad Chak. You're allowed to move it. So maybe Rabasi is going like his other teacher, Rab. Very interesting question. Tosfos answers that it's a different Rabasi. The historical statement. It's two Rabasis. Okay, so Abaya's question to Rabbi Yosef is who says, why do you need Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef to tell you that Rabbi Yochanan Paschal like Rabbi Yehuda when you know the story? You know that Rabasi is a student of Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yochanan Paschal like Rabbi Yehuda. That was the whole meaning of that story. Amalei Menorah Kamret, you're talking to me about a menorah. You think that that's going to teach me that the laws of Muktzah go like Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yochanan? Menar Tashani, that's a totally different story. Now, we don't really have exactly what's different. We'll see at the end of the Gemara that there's something unique about this. Okay. The Amar Abacha Bar Chanina, Amar Abasi, Hur Rish Lakish Betzidan. Statement for Abacha Bar Chanina says in the Amar Abasi that Rish Lakish Paskin, in this place called Tzidan, that Menorah Hanitelis Biyad Yachas Mutalat Alta. Well, there's different types of menorahs. There's a menorah that's a small menorah that you can move around. It's like a table lamp, probably. And then there's a menorah that's like a floor lamp, that you don't move around. So a menorah that's nitelas, yadiyachas, that you can move around on Shabbos. However, b'shtei yadav, asalat alfala, a menorah that takes two hands to move, that is not, you don't move it around. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Rabbi Yochanan says like this. When it comes to leniencies about moving lamps, you do have one leniency, and that's the leniency of Reb Shimon that says if a lamp was used once, you're allowed to move it. You're allowed to move it on Shabbos. Not that it was lit on Shabbos, but that if it was used once. The other opinion was that it's called muktzah machmas mius. It's muktzah because it's moss. It's disgusting. An earthenware lamp that already had oil in it once. There was an opinion that held that's considered muktzah. And Reb Shimon was lenient about that. So he says, we have one leniency. We go like Reb Shimon, that we don't hold the muktzah machmas moss. But when it comes to a lamp, you can't move a lamp. Whether it's moved by one hand or moved with two hands, in other words, whether it's a table lamp or a floor lamp, whether it's something that gets moved around or something that's stationary, you're not allowed to move it on Shabbos. And that's still not a proof that he paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. What he's trying to say is that I needed Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef to tell me that Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda to understand that Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. From the fact that Rabasi wouldn't move a lamp off his garment, that didn't tell it to me. Why not? The time of my, what's the reason why the menorah is not movable? So Rabbi Yosef because a person sets it in a place, and that's already a real designation. It's not meant to be moved, and so that could be even Reb Shimon would agree to that. It doesn't prove that Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Amalei Abai Rav Yosef. Abai says to Rabbi Yosef, so something that has a set place, you're not allowed to move it. Is that really so? Kilas Chasanim. Kilas Chasanim is a type of bed that has a canopy over it. So It has posts on the edges, at the head and the foot of the bed, I think. And they throw a deck, very good, Stein, exactly. They throw some decoration over the, it's called Kilas Chasan. Dadam Kavela Makarim, a person has a set place for it, the bed. You're allowed to set it up and you're allowed to take it down on Shabbos. Now, what this means is that there is a type of canopy bed that you're not allowed to make on Shabbos. That's if it would have 4 posts. And you might remember this from Sukkah. It's Naklitin and I forget the other ones. Kinaifas and Naklit. Where if you have 4 posts, then you're making an oil. But over here, we're talking about that it's basically just a, there's no tefach on top as a gag. So it's just a post. You see like in Dr. Stein's picture. It's coming up like this. There is no flat roof at all on the top. So because of that, it's not considered an oil. Once it's not an oil, then you don't have the issues of binyan and stira. So he says you're allowed to take it up, take it down and put it up on Shabbos. It has a set place, it's muktzah. So if that's serious about the menorah being a set place, it's a muktzah, why do we say that you're allowed to do it? Elamar Abaya says it's different. Talking about B'Shel Chulyos. Very interesting issue over here. The issue is that this candelabra is made out of different pieces that go together. It gets assembled. Now, you're not allowed to assemble it on Shabbos. We're concerned if you're going to move it, you're going to end up, it's going to get disassembled. And you might end up like pushing it back in. So that's the chulios. So I think about this because I have candlesticks from my grandmother. They're like, I don't know if it's copper or brass or whatever, but they move around and they actually come apart. You can arrange them differently. It's very interesting. But that's what it is. It's chulios. They come apart. A lot of times the silver also comes out, but that could be, I don't know if that would be the issue of boina, because that's meant to come out. This actually has a screw in it. You screw it on. You can arrange them differently, different heights. So if it's made from chulios, then there's a problem. It could fall apart. If it falls apart, you may end up putting it back together. You're not supposed to move it. It doesn't have to do with muktzah. It has to do, it's a different gezerah. Gemara says, my time with so you're just creating a new issue now. You said that Reb Shimon ben Lakish says that it's mutter, right? If it's a small one, it's mutter. We're not going to make a difference now between a big one and a small one, that one of them is made out of chulios pieces and one not. But we want them both to be the same, and the whole difference is big and small. That's our contrast. So why do you say that it's mutter? So the Gemara answers, my chulios ke'en chulios. It's actually not chulios. It's actually not made out of pieces. It just looks like it's made out of pieces. Why? This bechitki, because it has lines on it. So if there's a line along the menorah, and if there's a line along the menorah, so then it looks like that could be a seam where it comes apart.
Does chedek mean cracks?
A crack. I'm just translating it as a line. A groove, the crack that makes it look like that could be the place where it comes apart. So, hilkach. So therefore, look at the explanation. Chulios Ben Gedela Ben Ketana is a Sur L'Taltala. If it really is made of different pieces that gets assembled, so then you have a real issue there. You can't move such a lamp on Shabbos because it could come apart and you'll end up putting it back together. That doesn't matter how big it is. Gedela Nami Disbechitki Zerat Gedela Dechulias. If I have a large lamp, then the assumption is that it's made up from pieces anyway. That it's assembled. It's a large thing that's probably assembled. So if there's a line on it, a crack in it, it looks like that could be the piece, that's the seam where it gets assembled together, because it's a large one. What is the machlekes, Rish Lakish, and Rabbi Yochanan? A small lamp that's actually one piece, but it has cracks. It has lines in it. Marsav or Gazrina and Marsav le Gazrina. Do I say that I have to make a gzeira on a small lamp that has cracks because it looks like those cracks could be the chulias, could be the pieces that get assembled? If it's a large lamp, then there's for sure a gzeira, because a large lamp is probably assembled. Do we say the same thing in a small lamp, that it's assembled? That it looks like it could be assembled. Okay, now we have the pshat back over here, why Rabbi didn't move the lamp that fell on his garment. Was it a large lamp or a small lamp? If he was a student of Rabbi Yochanan, it must have been a large lamp. Actually, no, if he's a student of Rabbi Yochanan, it doesn't matter, even if it's a small lamp. There's a gzeira that looks like it could be chulias. Maybe it actually was chulias, and then there's no machlekes at all. Okay. Now the Gemara says, we go back to ask on the whole concept over here. Does Rabbi Yochanan really paskin like Rabbi Yehuda? Does he really paskin that we have the laws of muktzah so strict? Rabbi Yochanan halacha kastam mishnah. Rabbi Yochanan says halacha is like a stam mishnah. Here we have on the side, you see in the Meseres Hashas, he quotes all the places where this is quoted. Gives you the whole list. You know, the halacha is like a stam mishnah. The way Rabbi set up the mishnah is that if he left the mishnah anonymous, so that's what he meant to paskin like. Even though we know that stam mishnah is Reb Meir. So what does it mean? That he's paskin like Reb Meir? No, if he says Reb Meir, probably the halacha is not even like that. What he means is that when he had the option of putting that clause in the Mishnah, he could have said Reb Meir Eimer. He didn't say. He left it anonymous. So Rebbe set it up with a system of the way that to know what Rebbe wanted to paskin. That if he left it anonymous, he meant that should be the halacha. Rabbi Yochanan taught us that. Rabbi Yochanan says that the halacha is like a stam mishnah. Okay, and Utanan, and we have a mishnah that says the following: the wheel system that's under a wagon. We learned this yesterday, right? If there's a wagon that has a wheel system, and we said Bisman Nishmet, as if the wagon comes off the wheels, ein chibula, then it's not considered combined regarding tumah. If you touch one, it doesn't mean the other one becomes tameh. In Imdedasima, we spoke about how large a vessel needs to be not considered a vessel anymore. So if the wagon is very large, but it just needs a little bit more to make it into the 40 sa that would make it not a vessel anymore. So the wheels don't combine to give it that measurement. And it also doesn't protect together with the vessel, together with the wagon. And you can't drag it on Shabbos. If there's money on it. Now, when we learned that, we said the following: Sharia, if there's no money on the wagon, you're allowed to move the wagon. Even though there was money on the wagon, have a Stam Mishnah that says, Hayol Veskatzoi, that I don't say Hayol Veskatzoi, since when Shabbos came in, it was unusable, so therefore it's not usable the rest of Shabbos. If there's money on the wagon, Bein Hashmashos, then the money somehow goes off the wagon. Are you then allowed to move the wagon? From the Mishnah, it seems like yes. That means that we're not following Rabbi Yehuda's opinion that says that once it's designated when Shabbos comes in, it's not usable the whole Shabbos. We're following Reb Shimon's opinion that says that if it's movable now, then it's movable. I don't have the same laws of Muktzah, the strict laws of Muktzah, that it gets pushed away for the whole Shabbos. So I have a Stam Mishnah that follows Reb Shimon. I have a statement from Rabbi Yochanan that halacha is Stam Mishnah. That means that Rabbi Yochanan says halacha is like Reb Shimon. But I also have the statement that Rabbi Yochanan says halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. So how could this work? How does this work? Zera says we have an issue here. The only way to resolve it is to reread that Mishnah and to read it like this. When there's money on the wagon, then you can't move it. That's if the money was on the wagon, the whole Ben Hashmashas, even if there's no money on it afterwards. So you reread the Mishnah to fit perfectly with Rabbi Yehuda. That if there's money on the wagon, Ben Hashmashas, then it's usher to move it the whole Shabbos. That's exactly Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. The Mishnah didn't say that. The Mishnah said if there's no money on it, then you can move it. The Mishnah said if there's money on it, you can't move it. We're now reading it that if there's money on it, Ben Hashmashas, you can't move it even if the money went off it. That way it fits with Rabbi Yehuda. Okay. I'm Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Shua ben Levi says, Pamachas halach Rabbi l'diuspra. Rabbi one time went, I believe that Levi was a student of Rabbi. I believe that Levi is that student, the famous student of Rabbi. His name was Levi. He was a father of Rabbi Shua ben Levi. That's the assumption. And so Rabbi Shua ben Levi says, could have been by Rabbi as well, he said that Rabbi one time went to this place called Diaspora. I don't know if we have that location, if we know where it is. And he made this statement. He paskined regarding a candelabra like Reb Shimon paskins by a candle. Now, that's a very confusing statement. They have a question. Is that one statement? That just like Reb Shimon was lenient about a ner, a lamp, that was already used once, that it's still permissible to move. So that's how Rebbe paskin by a menorah. And they're both permissible to move, whether it was a ner that was used once or whether a menorah, you're allowed to move it. That was Rebbe's psak. Or maybe he said that you can't move a menorah, whatever reasons we said before about moving a menorah. Any paskin like Reb Shimon regarding a candle, that you're allowed to, a lamp that you're allowed to move. Is it two statements or one statement? That's the way Rashi puts the question that we have on Rabbi Shua ben Levi's quote from Rabbi. Tosfos throws in an issue here. He says maybe what the Gemara means is that Rabbi paskins like Reb Shimon paskins by a ner. Rabbi paskins by a menorah the way Reb Shimon paskins by a ner, which just means that it's mutter. But Rabbi himself doesn't paskin like Reb Shimon by a ner. He holds that it's asur. He's only using that as an example to permit a menorah. You follow? You have a third option here. In other words, our two options were, is it one psak, that a menorah is mutter and a ner is mutter? Or is it two different things? A menorah is aser and a ner is mutter. That's the way Rashi puts it. Tosfos throws in that there may be a third option. Maybe it's still two psaks, but it's exactly the opposite. The menorah is mutter, like Reb Shimon paskins by a ner, but I don't hold of what Reb Shimon says by a ner. I only hold of what he says by the ner applied to the menorah. That means that the menorah is mutter and the ner is aser, and the Gemara doesn't give us that option. So Tosfos learns it's slightly different. Okay. Teiku, we don't have an answer. Teiku means let it stand. Although in yeshiva we always said take it.
At least there would be. At least we would know that Rabbi Paskin like Reb Shimon in one of them.
Yeah.
Either a menorah.
Yeah. So we would say. You mean saying according to Tosfos. So it could be he's just giving an example. The way that Reb Shimon paskins by a ner, that's how Rabbi paskins by a menorah, but he doesn't actually hold of what Rabbi holds by the ner itself.
Usually when it says the word v'hoira, that means it's like he gave instructions. That's a psak.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting. So there has to be a psak by both of them. That's an answer for Rashi. Very nice. That means that Rebbe wasn't quoting something that he didn't actually hold it. Rebbe was saying there has to be either it's a double psak of heter, or which means that it's one psak, both of them are mutter, or it's a Rebbe paskin by menorah for Isser and he paskin by ner le'hetera. That's the Gemara's option. That's the way Rashi learns. Right, very good. Okay, Rav Malchia Ikloi lebei Rav Smaloi. Rav Smaloi is in the Chumash this week. Rav Malchia, he came to the house of Rav Smaloi, B'tiltul Shraga. He moved the candle. The candle had gone out already. The Ikbid Rav Smaloi didn't approve. It's interesting, we have all this gossip. Not gossip. He must have held that it was allowed. And Rabbi Smaloi didn't approve. Rabbi Yossi Glila, Klala Srei, Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina. How come he didn't approve? He held like Rabbi Yehuda, that after it goes out, you can't move it. Anyway, Rabbi Yossi Glila comes to Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. These are Amiram in Eretz Yisrael. Tiltul Shraga, he did the same thing. He also moved a candle. He held that once it goes out, you're allowed to move it. The Ikbid Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina did not approve of that. Rabbi Vo, Kiyaklad la'asrid Rabbi Shua ben Levi. When Rabbi Vo came to the area of Rabbi Shua ben Levi, have a metaltal shraga. He would move a candle. He would move it after it went out. Remember, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Paskins like Rabbi Shimon, right? Okay. Kiyaklad la'asrid Rabbi Yochanan la'av metaltal shraga. When it came to the area of Rabbi Yochanan, he did not move the candle. Gemara says, Manavshach, what's going on here? He needs to be more consistent. Does he hold like Rabbi Yehuda? Let him always go like Rabbi Yehuda and be strict and don't move the candles. He holds like Rabbi Shimon, then he can move it. Gemara says, really, he's always lenient. He holds like Rabbi Shimon. Gave respect to Rabbi Yochanan. In Rabbi Yochanan's area, he wouldn't move a candle. Come Rabbi Yehuda. This is Rabbi Yehuda the Amira. Shraga the Mishcha Shari L'Tiltula the Nafta Asal L'Tiltula. A candle, a lamp that's burning with oil, you're allowed to move it. A lamp that's burning with nafta, you're not allowed to move it. And apparently, the nafta had a smell to it, and you would only use it as a lamp. You wouldn't use it as any other use. So that's why it's really designated for that, and that's why it's more muktzah. However, the other lamp, I don't know, we can use it for something else. So it's not so muktzah once the fire goes out. And we're talking about cheres, following Rabbi Shimon's opinion that says that it's not mos, or that there's no muktzah machmas miyas. That's the idea, that it was used already. Okay. Rabbi, this was the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Rabbi Yosef Damri Tabaya, the nafta nami shayel tiltula. Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef both say that you can move a nafta lamp as well. Nafta, we said, was some sort of black, like pitch or something, like a type of oil that they would get from the ground, I think. We have parentheses here. The Rashal takes it out. He says it's not in some Svarim, and also doesn't seem to fit with the following Gemara. It says Rabbi Avya Ikla Lebei Rava. Rabbi Avya came to the house of Rava. Avamiisin Beikare Betina. His feet were very dirty with mud. Rabbi Avya. Asibi Apuria Kami de Rava. He puts them on the bed in front of Rava. He puts his dirty feet. I see like this time, the mud. Ikbid Rava. Rava gets angry about this. He's not happy. So he's going to ask him now questions. So maybe he doesn't know an answer. Rava's going to attack him. I don't know why he doesn't say exactly, but
Rav is a student in this? Rav is a student, or who's the senior in this case?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Rav Avya is more of an authority. Rav is asking him questions. That's what it seems like. So Amar Lei, there's a Chassidish story with Pinchas Reises, the Alter Rebbe's student that made jokes. That was what was his name? Shmuel Munkus. Shmuel Munkus came to Pinchas Reises' house. Pinchas Reises apparently was wealthy, from Shklov, and he lay down in the bed, and he had his shoes on. He put the mud everywhere. So Pinchas Reises yelled at him. So Shmuel Munkus said, "If Elam Hasas tifus makam by you, then I don't want to have anything to do with you." So Pinchas Reises, Shmuel Munkus left. So Pinchas Reises chased after him. Be Michael him, whatever. Anyway, he said, "I'll be Michael you if you jump around the town on a broomstick." Pinchas Reises is like the Chash of the Yid. He went around the town on a broomstick. Wanted to make sure he's not impressed with him, but something like that. Okay, anyway, he puts his feet on the bed. Rav starts asking questions. Amalei, my time, Rabbi Rabbi Yosef Dami Tavayu Shraga Dinafta Namishel Tatsuli. Why, according to Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef, are you allowed to move a nafta lamp? It smells, and it's probably not used for anything else. Well, if I would have a jug, I can take the lamp and I can put it on top of the jug, and it will be considered like a stopper to the jug. It has a use, just a different use than what you thought, but I have a use for it. Rava tells him, well, if that's the type of use that you're going to get out of something and you're going to consider that a use, and every single pebble in the yard now has a use because you can use it to cover a jug that's the size that fits that pebble. It's all theoretical use. It's a theoretical use. use it for something that Amalei, 1 second, Rabbi says, that's not a keli, those pebbles. Those pebbles don't become a keli by a theoretical usage of, well, maybe you could use it to cover a jug. It's not a keli. If you wanted to use it to cover a jug, then you would have to designate it to cover a jug. This, it's already a keli. It's a keli that has a usage for other things. Yeah. But once it's a keli, then it's much more lenient. Hani lekateres keli ala, but those pebbles aren't considered a vessel. Mila Tanya wasn't taught. Ashirim, this is bracelets, maybe for the hands or for the legs. And the zamim, vatabois, rings, nose rings. Okay, there's a problem with wearing this sort of jewelry outside. People might take it off in Rosh Hashanah to show it to their friends. But however, it's still considered a vessel in the courtyard. You're allowed to wear it, move it around. You're allowed to, it's considered a vessel. Why? Because it's a keli. It's considered something of usage. So you see, once it's considered a keli, it doesn't have an issue of being muktzah. Amar Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchak Brich Rachmanad like Sife Rava l'Ravavya. I don't know what the emphasis of Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchak is, but he says, "Blessed is Hashem that Rava did not shame Ravavya." I don't know what he means. Does he mean that now?
Is Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak a student of Rava?
Yeah, obviously a student of Rava.
So I think what he's saying is that he didn't insult him. He didn't have a kpeda, so he had a chance to learn from Rava.
Oh, that's nice. So he's blessing Hashem that he's able to learn from Rava. Very nice. Very nice. That's a great shot. Very nice. So what Chaim is saying is that Nachman Bar Yitzchak, there was a conflict, sort of a Rava and Rabavia. If Rava would have insulted Rabavia, it would have affected Rava. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak is a student of Rabbi. Is blessing Hashem that Rava wasn't able to insult Rabavia. He was able to continue to learn from Rava. That's a very nice pshat. Okay. Rami le Abaya le Rabba. Abaya asks Rabba. Rabba is a teacher of Abaya. Grew up in his house. This question is like this. Tanya, it's taught in a brisa, Meiser Hashem and Shebenev Shebekara is asir. If you have leftover oil in a lamp, so it didn't get consumed by the flame. So, and the flame went out. So the Brisa says the Tanakama holds that it's also to use that oil. And Reb Shimon Matter, Reb Shimon says, no, it's out already, you can use it. Did we actually say, I think that's the way we learned it before. Alma Reb Shimon Nasle Muktzah. Obviously, Reb Shimon doesn't hold of Muktzah. But I'll ask you a question. Reb Shimon Aimer, Kol Shein Mumei Nikamer V'Yom Tevein Zemen Amuchan. This is a Mishnah in Beya. It says that you're allowed to shecht an animal on Yom Tov. However, there's a bechar, firstborn animal, which has a bit of an issue. Because if it has a mum, then yes, you can shecht it and eat it. Belongs to the kayan, but it gets shechted, it's not considered a sacrifice. If it doesn't have a mum, then it's a sacrifice, it can't be shechted. It can't be brought on Shabbos either. So, if Erev Yom Tov came, there was no mum, Yom Tov comes in, there's no mum, but on Yom Tov itself, there becomes a mum on it, so then Reb Shimon says that you can't shecht it. Why? Because it wasn't designated before Yom Tov. Very interesting. Reb Shimon holds of Muktzah. What are you telling me? That the oil that's left in the lamp, Shimon holds you're allowed to use. 1 second. That oil, when Yom Tov came in, was ready to be consumed by the flame that wasn't designated for your use. It should be the same muktzah like the animal. He answers back, Rabbi answers back, the comparison is not perfect. Because the fact is, candles go out and they leave oil in the bottom. A person's sitting and waiting, when's my candle going to go out? There'll be a little oil, I'll be able to use it for something else. And even while it was burning, he understands that there could be oil left. You have to read that as a question. Person's waiting, when's my animal going to get a mum? That's not how it works. He's going to say, who says that it's ever going to get a mum? And even if it will get a mum, who says that it's going to be the type of mum, blemish, that will allow me to shaft it. There's a type of mum that's called a mumoiver. That means that it heals later. And it's not considered a real blemish that would allow you to shaft it. And even if it does get the right mum, who says that the chacham is going to, you have to show it to a chacham. The chacham would be materit. It's a special smicha just for b'cheiros. Rav did not have smicha in b'cheiros. Rabbi, when Rav was by Rabbi, Rabbi arranged that Rav should get smicha. That's the term. He says yaira. He says yaira. Yaira with a question mark. Yaira. That's what we call yaira. He's a smicha, and he said yatu b'cheres. He said no. He didn't want him to be matu b'cheres. So you have to find a special chacham to do this. Who says you're going to have it? So basically, when Yom Tov comes in and you don't have the ability to shecht it yet, because there's no mum in it, so then your mind is already given up from it. That you're going to be able. Who says that you're going to? All of those things are going to fall into place. That you're going to be able to shecht it. So therefore, that's muktzah. However, a candle going out that has a little oil left, that you already had your intention on that oil, even when Yom Tov came in and it was burning. Masiv Rami Bar Chamas, that's a good answer. Masiv Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama asked the question. Rami Bar Chama is a contemporary of Abaya. He says, Mifir Nedarim b'Shabbos, a husband can annul his wife's vows if they're relevant to him. Say that a husband can annul the vow even on Shabbos. Say the woman says, I'm not going to eat shalant. I'm not going to eat your mother's kugel. Something. The woman says that. So we also have in a shalom and dam Shabbos. I think we should leave that. Let's start with Shabbos. If it's things that are necessary for Shabbos. Why should it become permissible now? What are you doing? You're allowing her now to eat the food for Shabbos. Who says that maybe the food is still supposed to be muktzah? Why? She took a vow. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. Erev Shabbos. I think, isn't it until nightfall? But somehow she takes a vow. It becomes muktzah. She can't use it. Now the husband annuls it. How do you know the husband? How does she know that the husband was going to annul it so that it shouldn't be muktzah? Her mind is already off it. She had a vow that she's not going to eat this. It should become muktzah. She mamish designates it that's for not use. So my answer is Hasan Kedera Pinchas Mishmei Rava. There we have an answer. It's for what Pinchas said in the name of Rava. Damar Pinchas Mishmei Rava. The Gemara quoting this. Kola nederes al das baile nederes. I see. When your wife says, correct me if I'm wrong. uh, when a woman takes a vow, so she had in her original intention was that only if the husband will agree to it. So that means that she never really designated it for not use. She said it's like she made a condition: if my husband will agree to the vow. Basically, Gemara is giving us an insight also into how far it works. How does a husband just walk in and say, no, your vows are annulled? Because her whole vow was only on condition that he agrees. He didn't agree, so the vow gets annulled. Yiftach took a vow, whatever comes out of his house, he's going to offer as an offering. If he wins the battle, he went to battle and he won. And then his daughter came out. So a very sad story. What exactly happened over there? If you offered her as a human sacrifice, or if you just put her in she could never get married. It could be the pshat. But the Gemara says, why didn't he go and be matineder? It says Pinchas ben Elazar was the Kohen Gadol. So the Gemara there says that Yiftach says, I'm going to go to Pinchas, and I'm the judge over here. I'm the general. And Pinchas says, I'm going to go to Yiftach. I'm the Kohen Gadol. So they wasn't matineder. So they explain like this: that Pinchas, why didn't Pinchas go to Yiftach? He said, because how does Hataras Nedarim work? Because the person is bottled to the Chacham. It says, if the Chacham agrees, then it'll be a vow. If he goes to the Chacham and the Chacham says no, so it becomes the vow goes away. That only works if the person is willing to go to the Chacham. If the person doesn't want to go to the Chacham, so then he obviously takes vows without the Chacham's das. So that's why Pinchas didn't go to him, because it wouldn't work. If the Chacham has to go to you, then it doesn't work. That's the way they explain it. It actually doesn't fit with the following Gemara, as you'll see. It's a vart that they say. Goes on, it says, Tashema, Nishalom l'nedarim shel tzarech ha-Shabbos b'Shabbos. You're allowed to go to a Chacham to ask him to annul it. How does he annul it? He says, I didn't realize what I was saying. I regretted what I said. How do you know the Chacham's going to agree? So we should answer. Like we answered we don't answer that. We said, you don't actually need a Chacham. You can go to 3 common people also. So you'll find 3 common people. That's not. So even though you took a vow, but you know that it could get annulled, so it's the whatever you vowed about, it doesn't become muktzah. But when it comes to Bechar, you have no way out. You can't go to 3 common people to allow you to eat to shechta Bechar. That you need mamash a Chacham. Okay, Rami le Abai le Rabbi Yosef. Does Abai ask Rabbi Yosef? Miyam Rabbi Shimon kavsa mutal etaltala. Does Rabbi Shimon really say that once it goes out, you're allowed to move the candle? That would mean kavsa in like kavsa lai. If it goes out, you can move it. If it doesn't go out, then while it's burning, you're not allowed to move it. He asks him like this: my time, why can't you move it before the candle goes out, before the flame goes out? Dilma bahadi nakat la kavsa. Maybe while you're moving it, you're shaking it's going to shake. It's going to go out. So that's why does Reb Shimon say that you need to wait for it to go out before you can move it? Because he has a concern that it may go out while you're carrying it. Your hands shake. It's not steady. You move it here, you move it there, it tips a little bit. You'll put the candle out. He says, that's the issue. That cannot be the issue. It should be that you could carry it even while it's burning. What's going to happen? The candle's going to go out. You didn't intend for it to go out. Reb Shimon says it's a davar she'eino miskaven as mutter. If you don't intend for it, we're throwing in another opinion of Reb Shimon here. If you don't intend, it's not a problem. So, the Tanya Reb Shimon Omer Ger Radam Kisib Mita V'Safsel B'Vachli Skavan
That's the same rule as grammar.
Grama comes up in different issues as well. This is a Davar Shein Miskaven. Davar Shein Miskaven, it's associated with Grama as well. Davar Shein Miskaven, Davar Shein Miskaven is something is happening here that's not my intention. I'm putting a pot down in the ashes. I'm taking a pot out of the stove. It's going to end up moving something on the side. That was my intention, to move those coals. Then there's a type of davar she'eino miskaven, but it's a psikresha. The psikresha is what comes into the davar she'eino miskaven. Psikresha means that I wanted the head of a chicken. I didn't actually intend to kill it. I just wanted the head. So over there, Rabbi and Rabbi say, psikresha v'layamas. So you're going to take off the head. It's if it's a 100% definite thing that's going to happen, then you can't claim that that's it's a eino miskaven. I didn't intend for that. If you're not sure if it's going to happen, so then you can say, I didn't intend it. I didn't even know it was going to happen. That was my intention either way. So a chair that you're dragging, maybe it's going to make a groove, maybe not. So I'm allowed to drag it because I'm not intending for the groove. I want the chair over there. It happens to be that a groove is being made. That wasn't my intention. So the Gemara explains like this: that kol heichadechi mechaven ikisederaysa. What's going on over here? Let's say he does actually intend for that malacha. Would it have been an isederaysa? The answer is yes. So then, why? Because he's putting out a candle. If he would have intended to put it out, it would be isederaysa. If he wants the coal, if he wants the wick or whatever. So kilay mechaven gazer Reb Shimon midirabanan. If you don't intend, there still is a gzeira. However, kol heichadechi mechaven if yisur derabanan kilay mechaven shei Reb Shimon lechatchila. See what's happening over here is that when you're dragging a chair, let's say you intend to make a groove in the ground, that's still not an issa deraisa, because that's not a regular plowing. If you would actually plow, that would be an issa deraisa. But making a little groove in the ground with a chair scratch is not the issa deraisa yet. So therefore, even if you did intend, it would only be a derabanan. So if you don't intend, it's Rabbi Shimon says it's mutter. So our question was, why does Rabbi Shimon hold that you're not allowed to move it? You're not allowed to move a candle while it's burning. It's eino miskaven. It should be mutter. We say that eino miskaven is only if you would intend, it would be a derabanan. Okay. Masav Rava. We're not done yet. Rava has a question. We quoted this before. It says, he's selling clothing to Goyim that wear shatnez. And you model the clothing, you put it on just to show them what it looks like, or the way you carry it around. You're not allowed to put it on in the sun, if it has shatnez, as a protection from the sun, or in the rain, it does for the rain. But people that are extra tznius means over here, extra observant, very, very careful. So they put it on a stick and let it hang behind them. They don't actually wear it. This was a Mishnah we quoted before, was the opinion of Reb Shimon. Because you're not intending to wear it to get warmth from the clothing. You're wearing it just to show it to the people.
How did we know that it was Reb Shimon's
opinion? Yeah, the Gemara went to do that. I think we actually asked. Who says that that's Reb Shimon? I forget.
Okay.
We had it before Meichik. What does it say over here? Chavtes Amid Beis. The Gemara asked that. The Gemara doesn't ask that. This was Rabbi's question before. It was understood that that's Reb Shimon that allows this. The fact that he says Vavachli Iskav.
He says this is in Kilayim Perktas.
Yeah, well, we quoted before. The fact that it says Vavachli Iskav, that tells me that it's Reb Shimon. As long as you don't intend. Reb Shimon is the one that makes that distinction, intention. So, what's going on over here? Let's say he does intend. It would have been a deraisa. I have a kasha on the teretz that we just gave before. It's a bias kasha on to Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef answers that it depends what would be the severity of the malacha if you would have intended. Now we're saying 1 second. We have the most severe halacha. We have isser shatnez. If you intend to get warmth or intend to protect you from the sun or the rain, then that's a regular garment. And that would be an Issa Daraisa. Nevertheless, Kila Mechavin Shar Reb Shimon Lachatchila. Nevertheless, Reb Shimon says that it's totally mutter. Elam Rava, rather Rava says a different shot. Hanach L'ner Shemen Upsila, Hail Denasa Basus Davarasa. It's not because the candle may go out. Candle going out, according to Reb Shimon, wouldn't have been the issue. It's Einem Eskavin. The issue over here is that it's a basis for the flame. The flame itself is muktzah. The ner, shemen, and the psila is all a basis, a base, like the English word, a base for something that's muktzah. Basis davrasi, you're not allowed to move. But once the flame goes out, then it's not a basis anymore. And so then you're allowed to move it. Okay, let's leave it over here. We're up to date, Baruch Hashem. Okay.
Yeah.